Today on Bell the Birdmen, everyone's left Howie. Do they hate him? Also, are the Giants suddenly legit? And raucous applause for mundanity. It's all coming up, and Johnny's back, baby! Taylor, hit the music!
Philadelphia. Hello, everybody. Oh, my God. It feels good to crack that liquid death. Of course, it is Bell the Birdman. I'm John Barchard. That is Vince Quinn. His beautiful face. Yes, the salute is wonderful. As always, thank you for joining us on YouTube and especially on the podcast. Go to liquiddeath.com/bell to get your case of liquid death sent to you for free, and it helps support the podcast. You already know that by now. I still have a bone to pick with Mike. We'll get that towards the end of the show, but I want to say, hey, Vince Quinn, Taylor Cordatis, way to hold down the fort.
Thank you.
That was a nice week of podcasting from you guys. Appreciate that. So we have a lot of things to get into because, well, first and foremost, Jim Shorts is headed to the New York Giants. I think that's going to happen. I would like to get the temperature from both of you at some point during the show. And kind of like, I think Vince Quinn's a little scared now. I think he might have to take back some of those Daniel Jones picks. Maybe Taylor does too at the same time. But they are building a staff there. Doug accepted a job in Jacksonville, which I thought was hilarious that you guys ended the last podcast. And then, of course, he gets hired like an hour later.
Right after.
In the meantime, the Eagles are getting absolutely gouged from their front office. So both of Andy Weild's top right-hand dudes are gone. One is in Chicago. One is in New York, by the way. And I have got a bone to pick with everybody, including you, Vince Quinn, who tweeted it from our own account at Bell and the Birds, by the way. And a bunch of people are now just saying, see, this is what it truly is, a GM factory, and Howie's great, and you are all wrong that he sucks, right? That's your main objective out of this?
That is exactly the objective out of this.
This is why Howie sucks, right here in front of you.
Oh,
no one wants to stay and work for the man, because what's the point?
Oh, come on.
Joe Douglas is here for 2 years. He's gone. See you later. Now you've got, who is it? Is it Ian? I forget their names. But
Ian Cunningham.
Ian Cunningham off to Chicago to be the right-hand man for his friend in Chicago. And now you've got, who is it, Brandon Brown, who is going to the rival New York Giants, right, to hang out in there. And Andy Weild, according to Jeff McClain, who has been Howie's right-hand guy, who is the guy that wanted Justin Jefferson here and was told no thank you, is also rumored to leave to go pick up the Pittsburgh Steelers job and rebuild a franchise where he's from, by the way.
Okay.
After Big Ben is saying goodbye to the world. So all three of the guys that Howie Roseman has relied on deeply to nail this draft are leaving. They're gone.
Yes.
So unless you're telling me that there's 24 years of experience walking through the door with his VP of personnel or whatever is happening here, this does not make Howie Roseman the greatest GM of all time.
What are you
handicapping
about?
Someone's front office talent to make sure that they get the best out of them, and then you go get a GM job is why Howie's probably going to fire off all these picks like a wild cowboy this year.
Look, if you want to talk about what the draft is going to be, that's one thing. To say the guy's not good or nobody wants to work for him because they're getting promotions.
From Louis Riddick on.
They're getting promotions.
No one listened. They don't get promotions to. Clearly.
Well, that's why they take a job where you have say. That's why any coordinator leaves anywhere. Doesn't everybody leave everywhere if they get a better job to be a head coach? The only guys that stay are either Josh McDaniels, who's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to this league, and he finally left, or it's guys that they're just not that good.
They left for non-real GM jobs to be basically a glorified version of what they already were. For more money.
Okay, so what's wrong with that?
That tells you that they don't want to. Why wouldn't you want to build in this draft with all of these picks? You don't want to take some credit for that and get a GM job or whatever it is later. I mean, they're about to walk in one of the biggest off seasons in the world.
Yeah.
This is set up on a tee for everybody. And not one, not two, all three of your captains are probably leaving.
Okay.
The people that set up Landon Dickerson and all this other great stuff that we're excited about are leaving. They're going away. They're going bye-bye, which is going to make it easier for Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie to meddle where we don't want them to meddle in. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. No. Look, for all of the problems you want to say, if I'm one of the Howie assistants, and your criticism that me as a Howie assistant in this scenario doesn't like Howie and that's why I'm leaving, and I could leave credit behind. I'm not leaving credit behind. I'm getting all the credit that I was going to build up as a Philadelphia Eagles guy. I'm taking it to another city, another job, and I'm planting my flag right off the bat. These are guys that I've researched for a year. The research is the same. You're gonna have to fit it a little bit differently for the organization, but your scouting of the players and what they do and what they're good at is the same. You're not losing anything. Like, you don't lose anything leaving the Eagles to go anywhere. So when it comes to the
Eagles and Howie Roseman do, that's what I'm saying.
They do, yes. And so worrying about the draft and where it's going to go for the Eagles, sure. But saying nobody likes Howie and they're all desperate, they're all like rats off the Titanic.
It's true.
That's not true. They're getting promoted.
That has been true. Right. You can never be, you're always happy when you're promoted at your job and your boss is awesome.
You don't have to love your boss, but it's the idea that is Howie good at the job when guys are consistently getting jobs in higher positions all across the league? I mean, isn't he good? People around the league clearly think he's good. They're picking off. How do you not give him credit? He's the guy at the top. He's developing.
For identifying people that are good at their jobs and then making them work for them, ripping off their ideas and saying, bye, I'll take credit for all the shit that you do.
Isn't that how all of this always goes when you're in a position of leadership anywhere? If you're the president, if you're a head coach, if you're a general manager, if you run an Arby's, I don't give a shit. If you're the best person, you identify, hey, this person works at this spot, you work at that spot, you're good at those things, I'm going to make the final decision. See ya. That's a skill. He's very good at that. I mean, Joe Douglas leaves. Great. Next guy in line. Where does he go? It's Andrew Berry. He's gone to Cleveland. Next guy in line.
Andrew Berry was already going to be a GM.
Okay. Well, he was in the... And why was that? He's in the Eagles front office. He's working with all these guys. He's learning things from Howie. People want a piece of that because the Eagles books always get handled. And you've got the Saints $72 million over the cap. I don't even know what happens. Like, in previous years, I've Googled, like, what happens if you don't get under the cap? I don't know if there's an answer. I don't think it's ever happened.
It's bad news bears.
The Saints have 72. Like, the Saints legitimately might not be able to get under the cap this year. I don't know how it works. Other teams want a guy that can get you out of those spots. Everybody wants that. Howie grooms those people. Everybody's trying to take those people constantly. He trains them. They learn from him. They bring their own expertise and grow themselves, and they get a job somewhere else. If anything, this is where you want to be. If you want to be a front office executive, even if you don't like Howie all that much, maybe they don't like him all that much, but the guy does a pretty damn good job, and everybody that's here gets hired somewhere else.
Vince is just glossing over the fact that I'm not concerned if you lost one of these guys. I'd be a little concerned if you lost two. You're losing all three of your triad right there. Like, Andy Weild's right and left-hand man, and Andy Wield, probably.
Well, is it Weidl?
Or Weidel.
Yeah.
Sorry. Wield, Weidel. You know me with last names.
Potato.
So you're not concerned at all, like that it's going to affect whatever's coming down the road.
No,
it'll probably be okay for a draft.
Concern for the draft is one thing. Howie is saying this is an indictment on Howie instead of a positive mark.
I'm saying he deserves no credit in assessing people for being good at their jobs, that they get sent massive. Howie's not looking at each individual scout and being, this guy's great. Oh, we got to get him in there. It's not his job either. That's not what's happening. Like they're probably the final step in the interview. There's millions of other people like, you need to get this guy. You should be doing that. Like, it's part of the gig. It's one of the things that he does.
He's constantly hiring people, and those people get hired somewhere else. The people that haven't gotten hired, I mean, how many other people got hired this cycle for GM jobs, didn't get it, but got looked at, which means in a year or two, they're probably going to be a GM somewhere, like Catherine Rach, who we mentioned.
Right.
First woman to get like a legitimate GM interview in the NFL. It's a big deal. She's in Philly. She's probably going to get a job somewhere else in the next year. Like, that's going to happen. So I don't think it's a knock. But looking at this draft, yeah, the draft is a shit show, okay? I can't tell you that I feel good about the draft when all of these people are leaving. Yeah, it's all the people that you relied on for the research. So now you've got to hire people, or you have to hope that your replacements are good enough right now to shoulder that load of responsibility. I mean, player personnel, especially free agency, because when you're losing player personnel people, usually that's the pros, right? You can get, like, you're dealing with a lot of guys there's player personnel, like, which I guess is the draft, and then pro player personnel. But all the same, if you're losing people people that are looking at your free agents. Okay, well, now you've got to re-rack that strategy a little bit unless they leave you all of their notes, which no way. They're going to benefit their own team.
Right.
And the same thing for the draft. So, yeah, I'm a little more worried about that now because all of those evaluate. I understand that. I'm with you on that.
Point.
No, it was not. Your initial argument was against Howie. So
of course it is. You should not give credit to this man for hiring the right people. Like, it's just because it's not really what he's doing. Anyway, I am very concerned about well, here's really what it tells me. You're probably going to get your wish. And it might not be Russell Wilson, but these picks are not being used this year. They are ready to let this thing fly.
Oh, Johnny!
If you're going to put a gun to my head and be like, what is this offseason going to be like? Fucking fireworks. Everything that, like, every little shiny toy that you could imagine the Eagles may be getting, they're going to be in those conversations, and they'll probably pull down 2 or 3. And one will be a huge surprise that no one's expecting, because that's what Howie Roseman tends to do in these situations. And maybe that ends up being Deshaun Watson, and God, I hope it doesn't. I really hope we don't have to have that conversation this offseason, because that's going to be a weird flip from Hurts to that. But yeah. I think that's very much on the table. I think everything's on the table, and it's not going to be in the draft. What would you say?
Yeah, look, I've always been Team Russ and believed in Team Russ and everything.
He's still not coming, by the way.
I saw a number. Here's the thing that convinces me more that he's coming is the number that's been floating around the last couple of weeks is based on the dead money Seattle would take if they traded Russ. You know how much he would be on the cap this coming year? $19 million.
Is that it?
That's it, John.
Man, well, all right, checks that box.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like $19 million. If you don't understand why that number, because it's a big number. It's $19 million. Why is it so small? A lot of guys are getting like 40 right now. So you could get Russell Wilson at half the cost. Jimmy G is 27.
Yeah,
Jimmy G is $27 million. If you trade for Russell Wilson, he's 20 this year effectively. Like, holy shit. You could do whatever you want if you're getting Russell Wilson, even in a year for $20 million. You could go all in right now with that cap figure. So that's a game changer for me. But here's the other thing draft-wise in terms of the picks and what they do. Because there's this sort of truism that's going around of like, oh, well, Howie, he's going to want some quarterback stock next year, so he's going to get rid of a first this year, and he'll turn that into a first next year. Like, he can do both. Mm-hmm. I don't think people understand this. He can do both. If you're going to move down, if you're at 15 and you move to 27, that costs first-round picks to do. Absolutely. All right, so you've moved back. You're in the first round. You're getting paid a first-rounder next year to move back like that. So he could pick 3 guys this year, still develop for next year, have 2 first-round picks, and go all in all the same way. Like, there's nothing that stops him from that. Everybody just assumes how he's going to just get that first-rounder and throw it in the trash because, oh, my God, it's too much.
Right.
There's no reason to believe that's a given. I mean, how far back is he trading to just not get a first next year and go out of the first round? You know, I don't understand where people are coming from.
Did you get a chance to watch the Senior Bowl? Oh, by the way, go back and listen to Louis DiBiase from
Locked On
Eagles, who great stuff from Malik Wilson and pretty much exactly what happened in the Senior Bowl game as well. But did you been paying attention to that at all this weekend?
So I've seen some of the Willis highlights. I mean, John, I'm way more of a Pro Bowl guy. How dare we record this during the Pro Bowl?
No, I'm so sorry.
It's travesty.
Russell Wilson nailing the accuracy.
Not excited about it. I'm not excited about it. No, I'm not excited about it. But yeah, I did see like a little bit of the Senior Bowl stuff going around. Willis's stock has just like
gone up a little bit for sure. People are going to talk themselves into taking Desmond Ridder because I'm going to keep talking that up. I still think he's the best one in this class. Kenny Pickett in his small little tiny hands. I fully believe, and see, all the beats are starting to tweet out and in their articles and stuff like that. Oh, you know, they're going to take a quarterback in the first round because this is a problem and whatever. No, they're not. And thank you for doing the correct job on I think what Howie wants you to do, and that is sell this thing like it's very possible that they could take a quarterback in the first round, and guess who's going to come barking up the tree? Well, I already mentioned the Steelers. I already mentioned there's a bunch of probably other people that want to draft quarterbacks in that position too. And if you're in the second round wanting to jump back up, just like everybody does, it's going to be that Lamar Jackson type of, all right, somebody's got to take a stab on this kid in the first round.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to sell this very hard that they might take a quarterback in the first round because they're in the exact position you need to be in with all those picks scrunched together. Be like, I don't have to do, Howie can stay there like, I don't have to do shit. I feel as though they can get 2 firsts if they hold and pressure. And if we know Howie Roseman, I very much think that's going to happen. It's going to be 1 this year in a swap and next year and a second rounder and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm holding on to that because unless they are pulling, this all changes if they pull the trigger on a veteran quarterback, but they're not going to take a quarterback in the first round. There's no way they're going to do that.
I can't imagine. I mean, people would lose it. People would lose it. A second rounder, and I said this with Louis too, I think if you do a second rounder and you trade that, okay, Hurts was a second rounder, it was a project, competition, all that kind of stuff, you can justify that a little bit more. The status of a first rounder, it's just too much. I think right now it's just too much. It's too much pressure on the kid that you're drafting. It's a weird pressure with Hurts. Like, you don't need to divide the locker room like that. If they learned from 2020, and maybe they did and maybe they didn't, I don't think they take a guy in the first. But going back to the GM thing that you were saying a little bit, because if all these different people from Howie are going around the league, it does make it easier to move back. You know what I mean? Like, these are people that he's worked with. He has relationships. So unless they hate him, and maybe you're right, they do hate him, then he can make some of these deals. Like trading Joe Flacco for, what, a 6th in the middle of the season was beautiful. A miracle.
It's a beautiful thing.
But he traded with Joe Douglas, you know? So
Joe Douglas is guy.
Well, yeah. So those kinds of relationships can be really helpful when Howie's got people all around the league. So just a little side note.
Well, that's very true, too. It's not like they're building the same draft board together, so they know exactly what that particular person likes and what they're going to, tell their new GM friends and all that other stuff. So, yeah, of course. But someone's still got to pull the trigger at the end of the day. And when it's Howie Roseman making draft decisions, yikes.
Oh, come on, Milton Williams, baby. Give me a fist bump, John.
All right.
There it is.
Williams can stay.
There it is.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, and now, first let me get this out of the way. I'm still mad at Mike from Liquid Death because not only have those new sparkling cans come out, and so glad that you guys are going to liquiddeath.com/Bell and getting your new sparkling flavor sent to you. Amazing job on the text line showing us all the tantalizing, the berry and the lime and the mango. Oh, still have not tasted it yet. We're still waiting. And if you haven't gotten yours yet, 215-509-5833. Let's talk a little, Let's see where everybody's at. I know they're in some stores, but did you see this too? If you go to Liquid Death on their Instagram page, at Liquid Death, they are now have the severed lime mixed with tequila and all these awesome little drinks. And I'm going, well, fuck, I didn't even think of, like tequila and severed lime is... First of all, it's always tequila for me, tequila or whiskey, and mixing that those fine flavors, it makes me want it even more. So I know we were going to have like a regular tasting, which we are, but we have to also pair these up with as many alcoholic beverages, I think, at the same time and really give a thorough review on an entire day. And we'll just do the podcast drunk and then get sober with Liquid Death towards the end. I think that's what I want to do.
I think that's what the people want. Yeah. Is a totally, because for as unhinged as this show is already, when we're loaded, we're really going to blow the roof off.
We're going to go to the moon, as they say. But certainly in the meantime, as always, you can hear me and look at me sipping on this beautiful mountain water from the Alps, 16.9 ounces in aluminum can, which is damn near 100% recyclable almost every single time. It's one of the biggest reasons why we've paired up with Liquid Death, and not to mention that they are the coolest motherfuckers on the planet. That's basically it. We love them to death. Thank you so much for the support. In fact, we get tagged everywhere like it's our own brand, and that is fucking cool, man. That's how much we love it. We don't blur the lines here. We just promote what we love, including Clifford Sykes from Driving in the Right Lane. Even that. That's what we do. So thank you, as always, to them. And again, liquiddeath.com/Bell to get your free shipping. Gentlemen, just say it. I was right about the Giants. I was right about Daniel Jones in his resurrection.
Okay,
just say it, because you guys are fucking scared.
No.
Brian Dable and Ken Dorsey are going to fix that man. And now here comes Jim Schwartz, who can't wait, by the way, another guy that fucking hates Howie, to crush this division every single year. You should be scared of the New York Giants right now. Brian McKeon, wherever you are, get ready. I'm coming up to WFAN. I'm going to yell in your ear too. They are going to so change the culture of that in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. The Giants are now contenders. They're so far ahead of the Washington Commandos or whatever the fuck they want to be called now. The Giants are going to be for real, and you heard it here first on an Eagles podcast. Sweat your balls off, gentlemen. Like, come on. You're not a little bit scared of this?
You just said they were contenders. Get the hell out of here.
They will be contenders in this division so quickly.
Eventually, yes. They have
a year and a half.
They have to build the whole roster over.
No, they don't.
They have receivers, and that's about it.
They need 2 offensive linemen.
Okay.
And that's it.
They need a defense. They need offensive linemen. They need a quarterback.
They need tackles.
They need a running back. They don't have that because Saquon's hurt all the time, and, like, good luck with that. They need a lot of work, man. Look, do I finally... This is the whole Leonardo DiCaprio gif of, like, you have my curiosity, and now you have my attention. Like, they've got my attention now, all right? They're doing
is that a Leo meme?
Yes.
So
it's from, Django Unchained.
Oh, that's why I've never seen that
It's him sitting
movie.
there in the room with all the classy shit, but it's like a lot of weird shit. There's a skull in there. It's fucking weird.
Okay.
It's a Quentin Tarantino movie. You get what you get.
Yeah, fuck him too. Well, about it.
Okay,
Anyway,
sure.
go ahead.
So, looking at what they're doing now, yeah, I have some respect of where the Giants are going. And clearly they had some level of self-evaluation, which we talked about before. It's like, oh, all of this is fucked up and dumb, and we have no identity. We have no idea where we're going. This is all a disaster. So now, GM and head coach on the same page, although obviously there's a lot of scandal around that, and it's going to burn the league to the ground. So good luck there from the Giants. But... as you're doing that, okay, Ken Dorsey, fine. Well-respected QB guy, worked out with all sorts of people all around the league. He's been doing it for like 15 years now, so he's got a long track record.
And is still not over the disappointment of Ohio State beating him, or him beating Ohio State? Can't remember, one of the two.
Well, I would hope he's over it if he won. But Miami quarterback, though, from back in the day, if I remember correctly.
Definitely.
So anyway, putting all those pieces in place and showing a clear shift in how this organization is running, yeah, now I'm going to have to start believing that the Giants are going to get their shit together and become a real team again. But that does not mean Daniel Jones is going to be good. And if anything, Daniel Jones, this is perfect, actually, because this is going to put Daniel Jones exactly into that super fucking lukewarm, oh, he's not that good, but he's our guy, and we want to develop him and get so much better, and we're going to sign him, and he's going to grow because of the market. They're going to pay him like $30 million, and he's going to suck ass. The team is going to suck ass once they pay him. It is perfection. Like, I hope he has this good year, and then they have to extend him. That's the best thing that could happen.
T, are you in on this, or are we changing your mind at all? And when I say we, I mean me and my brain.
I think the off-season boat picture is going to hang around for another 5 years. Because they haven't been to the playoffs since that came out?
The OBJ boat picture.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'll put one in your head then too. Then what's to stop this new crew from really selling "We love Daniel Jones"? Why isn't this tailor-made for Russell Wilson to walk into New York? Tailor-made.
It is.
And to bring OBJ back with him, by the way, to go in another ring. Because you can do that, too, as a mercenary.
I think OBJ would rather die than be a Giant
I think
again.
he would do it if Russell Wilson was there. Over Matt Stafford, because Matt Stafford's retiring after this. You get those vibes?
What? Really?
I think so.
Really? Why?
Go out on a high note. Your Super Bowl, it's the best chance you have to go into the Hall of Fame. If you win the Super Bowl, you probably call it quits here.
No, I think he's got too much money to make.
You think so?
Yeah, it's
got
money.
Definitely way too much money on the table.
Right? I mean, he's got to have at least like $35 million a year on the table. I just can't imagine.
If he comes back, there's no shot he gets in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying.
If he Andrew Lucks it, I'd respect him. Like, good for him. He decided, hey, I won the Super Bowl and made all this money. I'm in my early 30s. I can still live a good life. Like, fine. But yeah, I can't imagine. Very few people have that kind of
even if
guts.
OBJ doesn't come there.
Yeah.
You would say that, you've got, who's up there again? We've got, Kenny Galladay's down in,
Kenny Galladay's with the Giants.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kenny Galladay's there. Kadarius Toney, who had like some good moments, but he was injured all the time. His season was kind of weird in the preseason.
A wide receiver free agent class that's still massive, and we're talking about that too. They don't have any cap room, but if you're saying it's $19 million to go and figure it out, and they've got one of Howie's whiz kids up there, then wake up, man. So if it's not Daniel Jones, who cares? If Russ is walking into there, we're fucked. we're fucked.
They're a pretty good team if Russ is in there immediately. And I'm gonna be so inconsolable if Russell Wilson's a Giant.
With Jim Schwartz,
man.
who is not a bad defensive coordinator, as much as we want to erase that
he's
memory.
fine. He's good, Yeah.
Anyway, who succeeds more, Brian Dable or Doug Peterson?
Oh, God, that's not a conversation. It's not Doug. It's not Doug.
Ooh, they're trying to lay it on thick. Really thick. And listen, I appreciate Doug Peterson so much. Like, I think we both do. But we're still not wrong on how the man left and where this is going to end up. And Trent Baalke still being there. This is just like the most perfect clip to encapsulate Jacksonville football, in a sense. This is one of the worst questions of all time, followed up by one of the worst rounds of applause of all time. I want to make sure everybody has heard this. This is Doug's introductory press conference, and it's some schmuck answering or asking a stupid question.
Do you feel like you're behind the 8 ball in terms of putting together a staff? You feel like you're behind, like, already?
No.
No. Confidence-wise, then, in being able to assemble?
Very high.
Okay. Good.
The applause!
Yeah, Doug! Yeah! You said no to this guy's question. Yeah!
That's right.
Yeah!
That's right, everybody.
Ring the fucking bell, baby!
Shut his ass down.
What are we talking about?
How are you supposed to answer that question? There's only one way to answer that question. Are you confident? Yes. Do you feel like you're behind? Nope. Why would you say those things publicly otherwise? And then the claps afterwards. That's how bad it is in Jacksonville.
It's that bad.
And that's probably all staff. I'm hoping if reporters clapped, get out of the fucking room and get your credentials yanked from you. I hope that was just Jaguar staff, right?
I hope it's not something you directly applaud. Like, is really that something that deserves applause? He hasn't hired anybody. He hasn't done literally anything. Hey, Doug, you don't have a staff. There's all these other teams that got hired. By the way, they interviewed you first December 30th. Do you feel like you would have had a better head start if they hired you December 30th when they spoke to you the first time 2 months ago? No, I'm not worried about anything. Oh, yeah, fuck yeah! Yeah, that's our guy! Super Bowl, here we come, baby! Like, what loser mentality, insanity bullshit.
That's how bad Urban Meyer was.
That's how bad all of it's been. All of it.
Damn.
All of it.
Every single player on Twitter in Jacksonville went, thank God, the moment he touched down. Like, there's somewhat of an adult in the room. And it's crazy how this lines up because there is one thing I think we can be wrong about here. All right? Okay. And here's where I think we might be wrong. Doug Peterson, as much as I believe that Trent Baalke is just a generational organization killer. No one does it better than Trent Baalke. I still think that's too much for Doug to handle, but just like this press room, that was like fucking wiffle ball compared to, first of all, the first introductory press conference in Philly, which, hey, yet again, we all killed a head coach for his introductory press conference. So the Jacksonville press is nothing. I mean, we know what happened here with Howie. For the most part, we can try and put the puzzle pieces together, but clearly they didn't see eye to eye at the end. He's dealt with the best of the best. He has dealt with how to get power in the NFL at the toppest, highest level. Would you agree with that at least?
Oh, yeah, he's played Game of Thrones before.
Well, yes. And I know exactly what he sold to the Jaguars. Something along the lines of, listen, guys, you got rid of Urban Meyer, a college coach that created a disaster, left your roster in ruins. I've been through that. I took over for Chip Kelly when, Howie Roseman sent him to the broom closet. I was the guy that came in here and really set the tone of the culture. I respected people as a man, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if you look at it from that lens and that lens only and just say, go get me a quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, and John DeFilippo is absolutely coming there as his OC. Just give it a couple of days or whatever. So you've got asshole John DeFilippo, Doug Peterson calling pretty decent plays, getting the best out of Trevor Lawrence, guys that actually respect him there, and the opportunity to go face his foe, Frank Reich, twice a year to say, fuck you, I'm still here. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's enough willpower and enough experience to dealt with toxic environments before and how to kind of clean it up. And maybe this is his thing, is just like Howie Roseman's great at going boom, boom. Maybe he can do that in a 3-year window for Jacksonville while Trevor Lawrence is still in a rookie contract and just go, all right, fuck it, we'll make it to an AFC championship and maybe a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't see that at all. I don't see that even a little bit. They're going to win 5 games a year.
Boom.
It's 5 games a year.
No, I'm with you at the end of the
Trevor
day.
Lawrence isn't really going to develop all that much, and we're going to go, what happened to Trevor Lawrence? Look around is what happened to Trevor Lawrence. Duh, is what happened to Trevor Lawrence.
Also, do you feel like there's a little bit of Carson Wentz and Trevor Lawrence? Because I do.
Really?
A little bit.
Really? I mean, they're kind of gingery in the hair. I would say Lawrence is a strawberry. He's a nice strawberry. He's not ginger, you know?
No.
But outside of that, I don't see that.
It's that comment, and maybe it's totally overblown and I'm misremembering the article, but like, I don't know, like, life isn't about football. There was something like that right before the draft. And again, it can go one way or the other and be like, hey, you can't judge answers. And be like, yeah, well, Josh Rosen was saying a lot of that shit and they killed him for it. So I'm just saying.
And now he's dead. I don't know what Josh, I think he's in the league, but like not really.
San Francisco.
He's one of the guys that doesn't care, Vin.
There we go. Yeah, we did talk about
yeah.
that. Yeah, we did talk about that last episode. So go back and listen to that if you missed
Or is
it.
he with Atlanta now? I think he's in Atlanta backing up Matt
So what,
Ryan.
his like 5th team?
Yeah, 3rd or 4th.
He's been on a new team every year. The guy was a top 5 pick. I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
That's a huge miss.
I honestly don't know if a guy that's been like a top 5 pick at quarterback has ever been on that many teams in every single year.
How many did Jamarcus Russell end up with?
Well, he was on the Raiders for like 3 years at least before they totally pulled the plug.
What about Leaf?
Leaf?
I guess he was just Chargers and crime
and then
after that.
done. Yeah, and then he had all his problems.
Let's see. Who's the kid? Oh, the kid from Notre Dame in the 80s. Rick Meir?
No idea.
I don't know. I can't remember the last. Yeah, Josh Rosen's definitely up there.
Like he's historic, I think, in the way he's fallen apart. So
Russell only had 3 seasons Raiders.
there we
wow,
go.
just
See,
being a
look
man.
at this noodle at work.
Oh,
Huh?
right, because he flipped to a wide receiver. That's what I'm thinking of.
Wait, who flipped a wide receiver?
Jamarcus What?
What? No, he didn't.
No.
What did Jamarcus
No,
Russell
they're all
play?
quarterback.
Yeah, no, he
Who was the
left.
other-
Jamarcus Russell
the
left.
kid from Ohio State. Who was it?
Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor. That's right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking of.
Jamarcus Russell flamed out. Then he took like a year or two away from football, and then there was this like big fucking Jamarcus Russell comeback tour. Oh, he's in shape and he's taking everything serious. And then he like went to the Bears and didn't do shit, and then he was out of the league again. Like it was crazy. So yeah. But going back to where all of this is heading.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I look at where the Eagles are right now. They got a lot of work that they got to do. There's no doubt about that. But am I like worrying about, I don't know, Doug Peters? Like Doug Peterson to me, I don't have any regrets that he's gone. I don't have any regrets about Jim Schwartz with the Giants. I see what they're going to build there. Again, I don't think they're going to win shit. This is the most exciting thing though, is him going against Wentz and knowing all of Wentz's weak points. Personally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knows everything that's
If
wrong
he's
with
still
him.
there, by the way, I kind of put that in a big time doubt.
Okay.
Tell me this isn't a perfect scenario where I'm going to go back to the Cousins thing for a second. The Vikings desperately want to get rid of him with that new regime, especially after Harbaugh got the door. Harbaugh got turned down, and his offensive coordinator went to the Miami Hurricanes today. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
So fucking funny. He stepped out there like, watch this, I'm going to go get paid. Oh, shit, I just lost my OC and a bunch of respect in Michigan.
Whoops.
So I thought that was funny. But Jim Irsay, drunk off his ass, is going to call Minnesota, and they're going to go negotiate a deal for Kirk Cousins. And Carson Wentz ends up in Minnesota.
John,
In a swap.
Nick Foles
No way.
to the Colts.
No way.
Why? They don't give.
Are you keeping Carson in the scenario or not?
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck no. That does not.
Yeah,
happen.
I'm Jim Irsay. If
That
I'm
doesn't happen.
I am yelling, screaming, mad, super pissed, Jim Irsay. This is not good enough. I got to sit in front of my plate and tell everybody how mad I am about the team at 11 at night. Blah. So if I'm that guy, which is raving lunatic, okay, well then, hey, Nick Foles was begging to be here in Indy with me and Frank Reich. Now he's going to be available for nothing. nothing. I can get the biggest pressure point that I've ever had and just nudge Wentz with it. And now I've got a contingency.
How does that help you win a Super Bowl?
It gives you.
You're going to sell the fan base. Nick Foles is here, so Carson will be better. And if he's not, he's our guy.
That's
I
exactly
cleaned up the mess.
That's
everybody.
exactly what it is. You go. You can't put out Sam Ellinger. You can't put out Sam Ellinger. So okay, you bring in Foles, who Reich has a familiarity with, won a Super Bowl with, all that stuff. You sell that. You've got your backup quarterback and light competition. It's a light competition now, and the fire burns, and you put Wentz on notice. I would love that. I could see Jim Irsay doing that. I think it's a terrible idea for him, but I could easily see that being the most appealing option to him because he hates Wentz. We know, he hates Wentz.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
He hates him. I mean, for all the vaccine stuff and everything, he doesn't give a shit about that. He's like, I put in all this investment for this fucking guy?
Yeah.
Like, you kidding me?
I didn't even think of that. Cousins isn't vaxxed either, right?
So there's no way.
So maybe that's how, too.
Nick Foles, John. Nick Foles in Indy. It's happening. It's happening.
Well, I'll just say this. Neither one of us think Doug is going to win.
No.
But I hope he does. I truly do.
Yeah.
And maybe should we put that on our list as a possible destination spot this year? Should we go say hello to Doug in Jacksonville because they do play them?
Jacksonville's terrible.
Well, they do. I was looking at the schedule.
We don't have to stay in Jacksonville.
It might be that they're coming to us.
I thought they were on the away schedule. If not, I'll flip that.
Let me double check. But yeah, I mean, we could hit them in the parking lot. This is so annoying. Okay, I got to say this. Every time I try to look up the Eagles 2022 schedule,
goes right to the.
I put it in Google, right? Eagles 2022 schedule. Very simple. You know what comes up first every single time?
Preseason.
Coppin State. Who is Coppin State? Coppin State, the Eagles.
Oh, Coppin State, the Coppin State Eagles?
Coppin State University. I don't know where Coppin State is, but the Coppin State University Eagles pop up every time, and they're in third place, apparently, in whatever division they play in.
Shit together.
So the third place Coppin State Eagles, I can tell you all about their schedule. Let's see here.
Well, while Vince is looking that up, I urge you.
It is home.
It is home? Okay,
yes.
So that one's out. But... Well, maybe
hit him in a lot.
Maybe we'll just got to go to a Colts Jags game in Indy or something like that.
That would be awesome, actually. That would be so much fun.
Also, a fun fact I saw the other day: Doug Peterson will need 3 wins to move into 5th place of all-time winning Jazz coaches.
Oh my God! I'm praying for you, Dougie. I really, really am.
Just needs 3 wins.
Unbelievable. Well, once again, if you want to contact us in any way, bellandthebirdmen.com. Come join the Discord because it's getting really fun in there.
It is getting alive in there. It's awesome.
We love to hear all your takes from that. You can always text us 509-5833. It is not to sell your number or anything crazy like that. We literally just like to make sure you're real and text people back and forth and do all that fun stuff. It's also like when prize drops are going to be in a bunch of other things we're planning on doing this offseason, so we really appreciate that. I also just... I know you guys had commented on it this week, and it happened in a blur in everything going on between like Tom Brady's retiring and then actually Brian Flores is going to sue the NFL, and just wanted to say tremendous respect for him doing that. And I want us to remember all this moment because that man's life is about to be ruined, and we all know why. Like, if you're going against the NFL, they're going to pick you apart left and fucking right, and that's how this thing goes. And we need to keep having these conversations in terms of it might be a sport that we love and enjoy and all that, but this has clearly been happening. It always happens. It has continued. It hasn't changed ever. Like, between all this, they are going to Kaepernick him pretty easily, in my opinion. They are going to make this anything about what he's actually fighting for. And because I feel like this happens to black coaches that don't have that chance to be successful, it's going to be hard to do it against Brian Flores, who has been successful. So that's what's giving me hope in all this stuff. But 1,000% love the fact that he is doing this, got out in front of it before the NFL really had a chance to react and organize and do all this stuff. But if you are on the side of the NFL at any point in time, Dan Snyder right now is locking up a long 10-year investigation that he can now keep under wraps because the NFL basically gave him the right to do so. They're all scumbags, every single owner, and I don't trust any of them. In fact, like I know Jeffrey Lurie has done probably above and beyond what most NFL owners are expected to do in these scenarios, but with the Senior Bowl in mind, it's not lost on me that Deuce Staley down there is turning heads left and right yet again, and they used him as part of the Rooney Rule for several years as they're going through these coaches. And now that might not be a fair thing because we don't know the exact context, but I tell you what, Brian Flores and Deuce Staley to me are basically the same person. And if Deuce were to join this lawsuit, I would give him nothing but props to go and do that. I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but from the surface, that's always bothered me as an Eagles fan. I don't need to have answers. I just think that everyone needs to be aware that every NFL franchise is not untouchable in terms of all this stuff because we're still here.
Well, the Eagles are open to that with Deuce. It's totally on the table. Because, again, they interviewed him a bunch of times. They passed him over all the time. I really felt like for the last 3 or 4 years that they never really believed in him as a head coach as much as people were telling us. For all the interviewing and whatever, the fact that he's in Detroit now, when guys like Jeff Stoutland stays forever, if they like certain positional guys, they can stay around forever. Deuce did survive a couple of coaching changes.
All three of them. Every single regime since Andy.
But had to leave and did a lot of head coaching interviews, and I think it was pretty abundant he wasn't going anywhere. So I don't know how he feels about that. Obviously, there's a lot of play, but if you're talking about Flores, that's the one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they are very much connected in the same way in their own minds. I heard many times John Ritchie say he's one of the smartest guys I've ever met in terms of the field, seeing the vision, and granted, that's somebody else's perspective, but fuck, man, it seems like somebody that could be a really good head coach at some point, even if he's just Dan Campbell and yelling and screaming about taking off kneecaps and all that other shit. That motherfucker, I didn't think he can coach at all, but we value coaches, I think, for the wrong reasons and for multiple different reasons. Everyone that's touched McVay, great, but what the fuck is Zach Taylor really doing?
Yeah,
no offense, I don't know, but it's just like, hey, I landed with Joe Burrow and I have this opportunity and that makes me great. Like how many times has that been missed back and forth? I hate the fact that a lot of one and done black coaches are there to, it seems like, tank, and he's bringing that to light too. Like, go get paid. We're doing our thing. You can't blame us for any of this stuff, and they skirt around that shit all the time. It's something in the NFL that I absolutely hate. I'm not telling you to boycott. I'm not telling you to do any of this other stuff. I'm just saying have perspective in this a lot of the time when we're critiquing coaches because we don't know behind the scenes stuff. I mean, fuck, Bill O'Brien even admitted he was trying to derail the entire the Houston Texans, are reportedly trying to get fired. Like, how much opportunity do you have to completely boat race an organization and then come back and to be like, I'll still have a job. I'll just go hang out with Nick Saban, or I'll just go do this, or I'll just go call my friend Bill Belichick and he'll give me a job. It's fucking crazy. That's all I'm saying. So, tremendous respect to Brian Flores. And tremendous respect for you guys for jumping on that too while I was going to appreciate that. I also just want to end this with, it's been an incredibly tough week for me personally. And I just want to shout out Vince Quinn and Taylor Cordatis for being amazing people. Amazing, amazing people. I lost a great friend this week, Kristen Gentile. Her husband, John Gentile, worked with both of us, or I think all three of us at WIP, and championed podcasting like you couldn't even believe. There was no one in the building that would sell podcasting, and John did it. And he understood the power, the medium of it, still kind of new to everybody at the time. And his wife, who is one of the most amazing people I've ever met, unfortunately got metastatic breast cancer. And she was stage 3 or 4, I believe, by when they caught it. And rather than kind of sit in it, they decided people are going to go through this together. Let's make a podcast about it. Man, John knows a lot about podcasting. I wonder if he can help us. And from that, our relationship kind of grew from there for a couple of years with her good friend at the time, Andy Seeley, and just created a wonderful community for, letting everybody know I'm going through this too. And now it's going to kind of live on forever. And unfortunately, she passed away this week. And I just wanted to tell her how many people she did impact and how much it actually inspired me and Vince Quinn to move forward and to say that we can do this too. She was the first person that I said, hey, like we can make a lot of different podcasts and we can make a lot of different voices and amplify them, especially ones that are trying to do so much good even when they're in terrible situations. And she is the absolute perfect person in the world. And it just sucks when you lose a bunch of great people. And I appreciate you guys because you guys are my family, inside and out, between, Vince and Taylor and the entire community. That's why this stuff matters to us the most, because it's the people we meet along this journey. And she was especially one of them. So I just wanted to say that, and that her voice continues on no matter what. And I encourage you, if you have anyone that is dealing with any form of breast cancer, that making the breast of it is probably one of the best places to start. That podcast lays it all on the line. It is very open on the journey from beginning to end. And I just want to thank the Gentile family for making me part of their family and all the great stuff that we continue to do here at the studio. So with that, I thank you again for listening to Bell and the Birdmen. I will leave all that stuff down here in the description if you want to go check on it. And that's all I got to say. Appreciate it. Later.